Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is the 15th of November 2021. Today is Monday. I'm sorry, I was supposed to make this video yesterday, however, I couldn't. Anyway, today's video, once again, is about the life of Muhammad, the founder of Islam. I hope this will shed some light, uh, especially for those who don't have background and understanding of Muhammad as a person, as a human being. So today's video is what are uh, the things that influenced the life of Muhammad and consequently influenced us until today, because his followers definitely have certain way of life that most uh, people in the world see it strange. So I'm going to put the link in the description box of two hadith Muhammad said. One of them, it says, uh, one Jewish man was asking Muhammad uh, about his dead father, the Jewish man's dead father. He asked Muhammad, "Where is my father?" Meaning, where is he in the other world? So Muhammad told him, "My father and your father are in hell." And this is, I really feel this is a little bit strange. And we'll get to that later. The second hadith was uh, Muhammad asked God to go to visit his mother's grave, and God gave him permission to visit her grave. And then he asked God to repent or uh, ask for mercy for his mother, and then God told him no. This is also kind of strange. First of all, even if my father is in hell, and the other person who is asking me, his father, if I know that his father is in hell, I think I wouldn't say it bluntly like this, especially even about my father. Muslims are taught that Muhammad is the best of all human beings. God worked miracles throughout history to separate good from evil until he came to the purest man, and that was Muhammad. And if it is so, wouldn't be the father of Muhammad, that very pure and holy man, one step before him, wouldn't he have also some credit that he is near heaven, if not in heaven? Why would he be in hell? The Muslim clergy, they they know it is sticky situation and they are in trouble. And unless you know Arabic, I don't know, I'm sorry, I didn't look for that in English. Their videos, you can feel that they are ashamed of their interpretation of this, but they try their best to kind of like sugarcoat it. The father of the holiest of holy is in hell. Doesn't make sense, but let's put this aside. Now, his mother, first, if I go to visit my mother passed away. If I go to visit my mother's grave, do I need permission from anyone? Anybody who goes to visit his deceased parents, does he pray first and ask permission from God to go to visit their deceased mother? No, you don't need permission. You don't need to ask. Even if your mother was, I mean, there's no perfect mother really there, and there's no perfect relationship in anything between father and son, between parents and children, children and parents. There's always difficulties. Despite of that, you don't need permission. If my mother died, I don't go to ask my father, can I go to visit my mother's grave? If I want to go to visit my mother's grave, I go. And I don't even ask. It's not just my father. I never heard of any human being pray to God first that I want to go to visit my mother's grave. Further, Muhammad asked God to repent on behalf of his mother. And God says no. That is a little bit strange. Not a little bit, this is very strange. And the reason here, God, the God of mercy and love, as every chapter in Quran starts, God the merciful. Muhammad had mercy in his heart more than the mercy of God to try to repent on behalf of his mother. And God said no. That's very odd. That's very strange, God. So, we have to dig deep into that. Maybe about Muhammad's father, sometimes, from my understanding, if a father dies while the child is still in his mother's womb, and then that child maybe face difficulties, which Muhammad did, uh, there is certain anger probably. I'm not sure. That to really understand Muhammad's character, we need a team of psychologists to try to delve into this man's mind. Maybe he had a resentment because his father died before he was born. If that also was his father, because he was born, some people say, as we mentioned in the previous um, video, he was born either 2 or 4 years after his father's death, which is very strange, and many people looked at him as an illegitimate son. And in this region, people really were proud of their heritage and lineage. And if you are an illegitimate son, you are into a very rough start. So probably he felt that his father is in hell because he had a very difficult life. Okay, now we come to his mother. What if I am to repent for my mistake or sin before God, for those who believe in whatever faith you are in? You must have done something wrong. And if you are trying to repent on behalf of your father or mother, that means in your heart you know that your father and your mother, or your mother, have committed something wrong. What is it, the wrong, that very deep wrong that a person can commit, that God will not want you to repent for that sin or that mistake? Is it stealing? Is it committing? telling a lie. Knowing the culture of the Middle East, it will be the most outrageous act is sexual activity. Back then in Arabia, in this region, there was something called the Red Banners. I mean, the term is used until today, the Red Zone in certain countries. The Red Banners was a banner uh, for prostitutes that they will put on a pole high on their homes, on their houses, so that the merchants who are coming to Arabia, in case if they want to have a relationship with a woman, they will actually go to these places and they will do whatever they want to do and move on. Now, when Muhammad was born, his mother his mother gave him to a woman in a different town to nurse him, to give him milk. We could say sometimes some women actually after they give birth they don't have milk to give the baby. And back then there was no formula that you go to the supermarket and buy. So these women actually had to hire another mother to nurse that baby for her. The thing is, she didn't choose a woman in Mecca where she was there. She chose a woman way far south, and she sent the child with her for 2 years. That's also strange. And after 2 years, this woman came with Muhammad as a small child, 2 years old, and she told her, "Here is your son. He can eat. 2 years old, he can eat." So she told her, "No, keep him with you." She kept him for 2 more years, 4 years, and that's strange also. And the Muslim religious leaders, they say it is because she wanted him to learn the proper Arabic in this region. I want to ask you, how many children do you know of that by the age of 4 will master any language? Zero. And I say that because I had a friend of mine who was living in Japan, and their child was playing with kids in Japan, and he was starting to go to school in Japan. And they came back to America, and the child barely knew any English. Barely. He was speaking just Japanese. And within 2 years, he forgot all the Japanese and he knew only English. Only English. So that means if whatever you mastered there, it's forgotten. So why did she send him for 4 years to be alone? That takes us to his birth. He was born 2 or 4 years after his father's death, or the husband of his mother. Now, one more thing. Muslims are so proud that Muhammad was so white. So white. And the people of the Middle East, of that region, we have kind of like brownish color, not white. We're not white. We're not blonde. But there were white merchants coming from Europe to Mecca because it was a trade center. And those women women who were not able to provide for themselves, like they did not study anything, and his mother, nothing tells us that she graduated from anything or learned anything. After the death of her husband, she had to find a way to support herself. To me, for a woman who does not know anything, how would she provide for herself other than selling herself? It's not that I'm judging her. That was the only way to eat, to survive. But again, Muhammad, growing up with this kind of reputation that he was born after his father's death, way after his father's death, 2 or 4 years, and his mother was involved in these things, and of course his mother didn't want him to see her doing what she's doing, so it was better for him to be far away. And that, in my opinion, left tremendous anger in him. And that was not God telling him, I will not give you permission to repent on her behalf. This because he had so much hate and resentment towards what she had done, because it damaged him. It damaged his personality as he was growing up. That damage created so much anger in him, and probably I don't. We really need. I'm not a. We need a psychologist, very well trained psychologist to get into the mind of this person, because later on that anger was, how do you say, was transferred to his followers. You see, we are living with the diseases that he left us. We thank you. We hope to hear from you.